You're probably thinking about coming to the north of Sweden for your next summer vacation. And maybe you've even watched my previous video. If you haven't, do it, where I tell you about all the fun things that you can do in Luleå, Sweden. But now you're like, okay, I think I want to come, but now I need to start budgeting. So today I'm going to talk about all the hidden costs that you should probably think about decide to come to Luleå or to Sweden to vacation. This video is not meant to discourage you. It's really just to give you a candid view of just things you might be paying for that you are like, ugh, I didn't think I'd need to pay that much for that. So let's get into it. Hi, welcome to Candid with KB. I'm KB, and on this channel, I share my experience as an African living in the north of Sweden. I started this new thing that I call Candid Reflections, and I reflect on my different experiences while living in the north of Sweden. Like I said, today we're going to talk about the hidden costs of vacationing in Luleå, Sweden. It's summer, we're all like, ooh, it's vacation time, where's my next destination? So let me get you prepped so you can budget wisely. Okay, let's be honest, if it's summer, everybody just wants a little drinky drink, okay? I love me a good drink, I love me a good cocktail, I love me a good bubbles, just something to refresh. So of course, we're gonna need drinks if you come up here. But what you should know is that alcohol is quite expensive in Sweden in general. So if you want access to alcohol, you can obviously get it at restaurants, buy the glass or whatever. But if you want to stock up, if you're like at an Airbnb and you're like, I just want to have some drinks and chill out with my friends, you need to understand that you can only get alcohol from System Bolaget. So it's a state-owned liquor shop. So if you're like me from countries like South Africa, where you can literally walk into a grocery store, you're from Germany, you can literally go into a grocery store and get a bottle of wine and get some gin and get some that. There is none of that here. You need to plan your alcohol trips very elaborately and know that, okay, I'm gonna go and get my drinks from System Bolaget so they open Mondays to Saturdays. They close a bit earlier on Saturdays, so you need to know that as well. They don't open on Sundays and on public holidays. So yeah, and they're also quite expensive. So you're going to pay for the emotional turmoil of having to plan your alcohol trips, but also just generally the price of alcohol itself is very expensive. If you're looking for a bottle of wine, if you want a standard bottle, I don't think you can get it for anything less than 20 euros. So it is quite expensive, because I remember when I was still living in Germany, it was 5 years ago, yes, but I could get a bottle of good wine for like 5 euros, honestly. But here I haven't spent anything less than 20 euros on a bottle. So just think about it. So that would be around 200 and something Swedish krona if you're looking at the local currency. If you are at a restaurant, you're probably going to get a cocktail for something around, same actually, around 200. And it really breaks my heart. So just know that. I mean, it is good that they discourage excessive drinking with all the policies that they have in place, but it's summer. We're just trying to get a drink, okay? Okay, and the next thing that you're probably thinking about is like, okay, when I get there, I know the drink situation, but where am I gonna sleep? Am I gonna find a cute hotel? Maybe you wanna do a staycation, especially if you do come in the winter, but now it's the summer edition, so that's what we're focusing on. But you probably wanna get a cute Airbnb somewhere next to the water, somewhere in the forest maybe. You're like a little cottage. It's not only is it expensive, but they book out really quickly, because right now in the summer, that's when people actually visit their own summer cottages. A lot of people come to Sweden to be one with nature. And of course, then it means that the Airbnbs, they book out very quickly. And if you do find something, it's probably going to be very exorbitant. So will the hotels. a hotel per night, so I don't think you can get any for a good hotel or like a decent hotel. You probably won't get anything less than 2,000 sek a night, so that's roughly 200 euros. And you will then be very sad, because if you want to stay longer and you're paying 200 a night, it's like, or 2,000 Swedish crowns, it's like you can only afford to stay one night. But yeah, so hotels are very expensive. Cottages, which you probably want to stay at when you're here, they book out very quickly and they're also expensive. So book well in advance if you decide. So if you decide to spend summer in Luleå or in the north next year, you better start booking now already. I remember when I was still living in Germany, I would just wake up one day and be like, oh, I want to go do a staycation in a different city, and I'd book myself a hotel room on a whim, a really nice hotel, and I'd have a great time. Now, if I want to plan a staycation, every time I look at the hotel prices, I'm like I really rethink my decision. You know what? No, maybe I like camping outside somewhere next to my house, because I'm not paying that much for a night. So just think about that. Okay, so the next thing that you should probably think about is how expensive it is to eat out. Eating out here, I feel, is a luxury. It is a luxury. We always make a joke with my partner that literally every time we leave our front door, that's like money coming out of our bank account. Literally, breathing Swedish air is expensive. So you can imagine just how expensive it is to eat out here. If you're looking for proper fine dining, okay, not even fine dining, if I'm being honest, like just a regular dinner, main meal will probably cost you something upwards of 400 SEK. So that's about plus minus 40 euros. And this is not including your starter, not including your drink, and definitely not including the dessert. So it really breaks my heart, because I like to dine. I like to wine and dine. But every time I have to do that, I'm just like, is it really worth it? Of course, there's cheaper lunch options. If you want to do a lunch date instead, you can get something for like 150, 200 SEK, which is a decent lunch sandwich salad situation. But yeah, dinners can get really pricey. So, and it's really sad, because you probably want to sit outside and enjoy the midnight sun somewhere at a restaurant, but okay, it's very expensive. So just think about that when you come and when you plan your trip. But if you are looking for a little bit more affordable options, of course, you could always come and picnic. As I mentioned in my previous video, which I'll probably put up here, you should definitely go and watch it and see some of the things you can do in Luleå. You can visit Grusalden or the other places that I've mentioned in the video and picnic. So you can pack your own stuff from your Airbnb or go to the local grocery store and get some cut out fruit and whatever, just nice stuff. And you can go lay out there and have your picnic dinner under the sun. So you see, there's cheaper options, but so just consider this when you're drawing up your budget. Yes, another hidden cost really is just how expensive social life is up here. And this is less for people who want to vacation up here, but people who really will probably want to move here and live here and spend a little bit more time here. So social life tends to be very expensive. A lot of Swedes tend to participate in sports and they have hobbies, and all of these things really cost money, if I'm being honest. And for them, it's like they grew up maybe kayaking, or they grew up hiking, and they already have this gear. So if you think about it, it's not a really expensive hobby, but the buy-in price is very expensive if you're somebody who doesn't have the gear and all of that. So you now have to start from scratch and get the proper hiking shoes and get the walking sticks and get your boat, all of that stuff. It tends to be expensive in the beginning, but I guess once you have them, then you can really just enjoy those sports. And if you really want to start making friends and just building a community, a lot of the suggestions that I've been getting in my previous videos is for you to join some kind of activity. And that, while that is true, that also means that it is extra costs that you probably didn't think that you would have to pay for. Because really, where I come from, I don't really need to. Of course, there's clubs that, like sports clubs, that I can join, but there's also other activities where I can just randomly meet people and I don't really have to pay a buy-in price. But here, if you really want to make friends and meet people, then you might have to go and buy that tennis rack and maybe buy those hiking shoes. But I will say that they also have something that they call the free Banken. So that's where you can rent out gear in order to participate in these different sports, and it costs a fraction of the price. So maybe that's a place to start. And the next one is definitely just toiletries and all of that stuff. Normally when I travel, I will only pack my basics, or like my skincare, my facial skincare, because that I do not want to compromise on. But stuff like body lotion, I will tend to be like, oh no, I'll buy it when I get there, just so that my luggage isn't heavy. But if you're coming to Luleå or maybe Sweden, I would advise you to pack everything that you need, because here toiletries are expensive. Like skincare is expensive. Everything is expensive. Breathing in Sweden is expensive. So I would say definitely pack all of those things. I've even started, when I visit home, I've even started packing a lot of stuff like medication, skincare, sunscreen, everything I buy when I'm in South Africa and I bring it with me here, because I love being out in the sun, but I don't like sunburn and I don't like the price of sunscreen in Sweden. So do that. Definitely pack everything that you need. If you're balling on a budget, don't wait until you get here to get any kind of skincare, really. And the final one for me, which for me is a really big hidden cost, is just the mental load of wanting to fit everything you want to do in this 2 weeks of summer in Sweden. Because the truth is, the summer up here doesn't last very long. I think this week is currently the warmest week we've had ever since the so-called summer. And this is just for context, it's the 17th of July today. And it's been very warm and I've really been enjoying myself, but it doesn't last very long. And what I've come to realize is that I feel the pressure to do a lot of things all at the same time. I want to go to the beach. I want to go hiking. I want to vacation, because I'm also seeing my friends and my colleagues travel. I'm like, oh my God, should I go to Central Europe? Should I book a trip to France? Because you're like, oh my God, there's so much to do and so little time. What should I do? And all of these things, if you haven't really budgeted for all the activities, you might find yourself making not so very responsible financial choices. So just try and know that, okay, if there's something that I don't get to do this summer, I could always do it next year. So don't try and fit everything in once, especially if you do not have the funds to do so. I also think perhaps you should also try and really find joy in the stuff that you get the opportunity to do, and not really compare yourself so much with what other people are doing. And really, this is advice that's directed especially to me, because I'm like, oh my God, I wanted to do this. Maybe we should do this. And I'm just like, whoa, just relax. So that's also something to consider. As I've mentioned in my previous video, Sweden, or the north of Sweden, is a really good place to vacation in the summer. But remember, there is always a hidden cost. So make sure that you budget accordingly. But I hope to see you guys come up here and enjoy this amazing place. So if you've made it until this far, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Remember, I am on the road, or we are really on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So please go ahead and subscribe and share this video with somebody who might want to vacation in Sweden, or maybe who really wants to move here and wants to know how the summers will be like. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.